Hello, I'm Keith, and this is my dad, Kerwin. Welcome back to Father and Son, a Star Wars podcast.
Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Before we begin, we just want to say thank you to our listeners. We just reached 2,000 downloads, which is awesome. There are so many Star Wars podcasts out there. We're just so happy that you're able to find us and that you're following us. So thank you for that. We also want to continue to thank our YouTube subscribers. Our numbers are slowly climbing, which is great. And we ask you to please continue to tell others about our podcast and continue subscribing. And very important, if you can please leave comments or reviews on Apple Podcasts about our show. Just tell us how we're doing, so we really appreciate it if you do that. Thank you again. Thank you very much to our listeners and to our viewers on YouTube.
This is a spoiler review of Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters. We're going to talk about this huge Marvel comic crossover that began this past summer. It spanned 5 months and 25 issues over the summer. 5 titles, including the main Star Wars series, Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, Bounty Hunters, and War of the Bounty Hunters. In addition to these titles, there are also one-off standalones not necessarily related to the main story. Jabba the Hutt, Four on the Web, and Zuckuss, and whoever Leo's dressed up as an IG-88.
Yeah. IG-88. There you go. All right.
The Bounty Hunters crossover consists of many characters and several subplots, but will focus primarily on the storyline involving Boba Fett and the return of Crimson Dawn. Joining us on our spoiler review of War of the Bounty Hunters is Chris Ryons. He's the co-host of YouTube channels Broaxium and Quick Shot Star Wars Comic Preview. He hosts a Sunday late night show that I'm not allowed to listen to. He also manages Atomic City Comics on South Street in Philadelphia. Mr. Chris, welcome to Father and Son.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, Chris, you are a very busy man. So, and we know that no one knows Star Wars comic books like you do. So we really thank you for taking the time out to join us.
Absolutely.
Okay. We want to start with just, finding out who Chris Ryons is. So I understand that you grew up in Upper Merion, Pennsylvania. Is that correct?
Yeah. My family, we moved around a bit. I lived in Jersey for a little bit, and I lived in King of Prussia, I think on 2 separate occasions. And one time it stuck. And, so that's why I adopt like King of Prussia and Upper Merion as like my hometown. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. And what were you interested in when you were a child? What
Star Wars?
Oh yeah. Oh my. What about Star Wars that interests you?
I was born in 1975. So it came out when I was 2. I was just born into it. It was just a part of my DNA. And there's no one particular thing. It's just Star Wars as a whole that has just kept me in love with it. But I would say one of the things early on would be friendships that I made like around the neighborhoods and stuff with other kids and Star Wars like being the thing that brought us together. And those are friendships that have lasted to this day. Like one of my friends, Pat McCready, who was like my first like best friend. We bonded over Star Wars, and that was like our thing. So that, that just lasted to this day. Like I remember us, whenever we get like $3 or $4 in our pockets, we would go to this theater that was in the Valley Forge Shopping Center called the King Theater. It's no longer there, but whenever we got a few dollars, we were like that summer, 83, we were running up and down to that theater and watch Return of the Jedi for like the millionth time. So those are some fond memories of growing up with Star Wars.
Yeah, that sounds like a familiar story to me. Yeah. Did you collect comic books when you were younger?
Not heavily. like, a little bit here and there. I got the Star Wars comics from Marvel. I always thought they were kind of weird, like the old 80s ones. I thought they were kind of weird, but I still enjoyed them because they were Star Wars. And I think it wasn't until later, like maybe the 90s, when I really got into it, like after the death of Superman. That's when I really got into comics and started collecting and all that.
Okay. And besides Star Wars, what are your favorite films?
The Outsiders is probably my number 2 outside of the Star Wars saga as far as films go. Transformers the movie, the 1986 animated film, is like still one of my favorite movies of all time. Rocky 3. But I'm not going to go into Rocky 4 because that's when Apollo died. I'm not trying to, but yeah, Rocky 3, another one of my favorites. Yeah,
Clubber Lang.
Yes, that's my man. Yeah. Apollo Creed is like my favorite character. Those movies should just be called Apollo and not Rocky. But Apollo Creed is my favorite character. Clubber Lang is one of the best, on-screen villains. Thought he was fantastic.
All right.
So, tell us about the history of Atomic City Comics and your connection to the comic book shop.
Well, Atomic City's been around, I want to say like 30, 35 years. And I didn't start working there until 2005. But yeah, a couple people there I was friends with, and I worked at a video game shop on South Street called Got Game, and we were like right next door to Atomic City. At that point, it was called Showcase Comics, and then Martin and Daryl and Mike Yates and a few others were able to buy out and make their own shop from it, and Atomic City Comics was born, the first Black-owned comic shop in America, and yeah, it's been a staple in Philadelphia, and with the comic goers around the city for a few decades now. And yeah, when I came on, I was just a guy, just there selling comics and whatnot. And then they were able to see some of my creativity, I guess, and allowed me to do more things for the shop. So now, if you walk into the shop, like I do a lot of the graphic design. Anything outside of the comics, I pretty much am the person ordering that. The T-shirts, the import toys, the Star Wars stuff that's in there, the Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that kind of stuff. So we're all over the place with it, and I get to express some of my creativity and see just what I can do with the shop as operations manager. So yeah.
What is it that attracted you to Atomic City Comics? Why did you want to work for Atomic City?
I needed a job.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was back in 2005, and I was going through something really, really bad, and the current owner of the shop there, Daryl Jones, had offered me a position, and I really, really needed one, and that really helped me out, and from there, I just that's how I really, really, really got into the comics industry and and just collecting, more than, just getting Star Wars comics here and there. So yeah, that definitely really helped.
All right. Well, let's get into talking about War of the Bounty Hunters.
Cool.
So,
all right.
Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters takes place immediately after the events of The Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader offers a substantial reward for any bounty hunter who finds the Millennium Falcon, piloted by Han Solo. Boba Fett accepts the offer because he too is looking for Han Solo. Boba is also working for Jabba the Hutt, who wants Han Solo because Solo owes him money. Fett and Vader capture Solo, and Solo gets frozen in carbonite. Boba picks up Han and is on his way to deliver Jabba to Tatooine. En route to Tatooine, the carbonite begins to malfunction. Boba makes a stop at a clinic on the planet Nar Shaddaa. The doctor, of course, wants payment up front, and I did not know they had cash in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Fett has no credits on him and makes a deal with the doctor to take out a warrior named Ryman Lictor in exchange for payment. Boba Fett challenges Lictor to a fight in an arena and wins. Boba takes his winnings and returns to the repair shop where he finds the Doctor deceased and Han Solo stolen. And so the War of the Bounty Hunters begins. Or should I say, give me a second, I'll get it. And so begins the War of the Bounty Hunters.
And so begins.
Comics.
Gotcha.
Because I got it backwards.
No, that's all right. That's fine. It says the same thing. No, so that's it. That's pretty much how.
That's the jump off. Yeah.
So, Chris, who in the world would have the boldness to actually try to steal Han Solo and Carbonite from Boba Fett?
Well, a lot of people. He's worked up a nice list of people who would definitely want to take him out or capture him. Over the years of being the profession that he's been in. It kind of blindsided me. One of our listeners on our quick shots and on shooting the poo-doo, his name is Blaze Cap. There's a saga with this person. I was thinking, like for months before War of the Bounty Hunters began, I was like, who could it be? Who is this person that is stealing Han Solo? Who could it be? Oh, they bringing in Kyle Katarn, or are they doing something with the Black Sun Syndicate or something like that? So I wasn't even thinking Kira from Crimson Dawn. I did that. It wasn't in my head. Blaze Cap had put a comment like, I predict that it's going to be Kira. And I was like, I wasn't even thinking it. I said that was fantastic. And I hope that they do that. And they did. They had the boldness to do that, to bring that character back and to have her as a part of this War of the Bounty Hunters thing. And I think that's fantastic. What that did was that brought so many eyes to the comics, which is needed, because it's a valid medium within Star Wars storytelling. And more people should be reading that stuff. So, I think it was fantastic that they brought her into it. It makes so much sense that they're bringing back Crimson Dawn. So that was an amazing alpha issue intro into the War of the Bounty Hunters.
Yep, I don't know if they do that many alpha intros anymore.
No. This I think for Star Wars, this is the first one.
Although the irony, considering Boba Fett's original name is Alpha.
Right. Yeah.
They did that for a reason.
And I was expecting an Omega issue, but I think that may come since this is the what Charles Soule is doing is he's sliced out his own trilogy within the saga. So it's War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign, and Hidden Empire. So maybe we have that alpha issue with War of the Bounty Hunters, and we'll get that Omega issue, which could they could bring in Omega. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Yeah.
All right.
So Crimson Dawn is now in possession of Han Solo, and Kira wants to get the attention of the criminal underworld. So what does she decide to do? She throws a party. She sends out invitations to just about everybody in the galaxy to fly to Jakara so she can sell Solo to the highest bidder. So let's talk about the auction. We'll throw out some names on the guest list. Some were invited, some were not. Tell why they are there, their connection to Han, and let's start with the Hutts, Leia, Lando, and Chewbacca, Dr. Aphra, Dengar, Valance, the Empire, Boba Fett, Darth Vader.
Yeah, let's start one at a time. So, Chris, why are the Hutts at this auction? What are they looking for? What's their intention?
Well, they want to get back what's theirs, and what they think is rightfully theirs in Han Solo. They put out Vader put out the bounty on it, and then it paid Jabba to send him to Jabba's palace on Tatooine. So as far as the Hutts are concerned, especially Jabba, Han is his property, and there should be no auction. It should just be his.
Right.
So that's where they're there to save face as well as get back there what they believe is theirs.
And we also have Leia, Lando, and Chewbacca attending the auction.
well, that's self-explanatory. You know, that's you know, that's family.
Yeah.
You know, so they definitely want to get him back. You know,
Exactly. And let's talk about Dr. Aphra and Sonostaros. What are their purpose of being at the auction?
they're there for a completely different reason. You know, Han Solo doesn't even register with them. It's not even that. They're there because Aphra has a history with the Tag family, the Tag Corporation, and Dominant Tag, the head of the family, has tasked Aphra and Sonostaros with retrieving it was some kind of information,
some sort of intelligence, right?
Some intelligence, you know, at that shindig that's going on for a Crimson Dawn. And I you know, and just to make sure that, you know, that the Tag Corporation can still hold on to some dominance, even though that Crimson Dawn is back. So that's, you know, one of the things that Domina is looking for and has tasked Aphra and Sana with.
All right. Bounty hunters Dengar and Valance. Why are they there?
Valance is there to, I don't know if it's Valance or Valance. I always said Valance.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
But Han and Valance have a history. They were at the Imperial Academy together, and they were friends. And Valance feel like he owes Han and wants to save him. Dengar has reasons since Han has been lost, since Boba lost Han. There's a bounty that is out on Boba's head now from Jabba the Hutt, and Dengar wants to get that bounty. He wants to get the Boba bounty so that he can save his I think it's his wife or his girlfriend, like the love of his life, that I think Jabba has imprisoned. So he's doing it for for that reason. And the best way to get to it is to work with Valance to get the Boba Fett, so that so that Valance can get the Han, and so that Dengar can get to Fett.
Right. The Empire. I'm very surprised that the Empire would attend such an event like this and be around other criminal organizations. So the Empire is so powerful. Whatever they want, they just take it. They don't need to look for anything. So
I mean, you think they just come in there like, all right, give us Han, and then with the blasters and everything, with the blasters and the demanding and all the fighting.
Mm-hmm. So what's the Empire's purpose for being at the auction?
If I remember correctly, well, I know that that Vader's purpose, his only purpose, is to get to Luke. So he will go through Han to get to Luke, and if that's what's going to get him Luke, then he'll do what he has to, and use all the Empire's resources to do so. Also, the Empire always had like a strenuous relationship with the underworld, the criminal underworld.
Mm-hmm.
So they're also like, testing the waters and seeing what Crimson Dawn is about and how they're going to be able to work them in and control them, or totally smother them and take them out.
Right. And we just touched on Darth Vader. Here he is. Darth Vader just crashes the party.
Oh, yeah.
And his goal is to get Han Solo because he lost track of Luke, which seems very unfair. I just couldn't understand why Vader would do this, because in The Empire Strikes Back, Vader and Boba Fett had a deal, right? Boba would get Han and Vader would get Luke. Now,
honestly, desperate times call for desperate measures. I mean, I think what happened was after that duel in The Empire Strikes Back, Vader lost Luke again. So now Vader's mad because he had a plan. It didn't work. So now he's got to come up with a new plan, hence why he's stealing Han.
Right.
Because the Empire never makes a deal for long.
Yeah, exactly. I just found it was a very unfair.
I mean, Vader said, "I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further." Like, it doesn't matter. He'll make whatever, he'll do whatever he needs to do to get what he needs. And his purpose isn't like, there's no connection between him and Han, like none, except for he blew up the Death Star. Well, Vader wasn't even a big fan of the Death Star to begin with. But his purpose is to get Luke and either bring him under the fold or destroy him. So Yeah, yeah, that's Vader's role within War of the Bounty Hunters. It's all about Luke Skywalker. And if I've got to, get Han Solo and destroy Han Solo to get you, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right. And we also know Boba Fett is there because he's trying to get Han Solo because Han Solo belongs to him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Fett has and this comes from, and this is also like harkening back to these one-shot Age of Republic issues. There was Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, and Age of Resistance, a set of comics that came out. And Jango Fett's had a young Boba in there, and Jango instilled in Boba about your reputation and how you were seen by the galaxy and all that. And when Boba got Han stolen from him, that messes with his reputation. And he's like, no, I need to, this is my job, this is my charge, and I need to get this back on track. So that's a lot of his motivation for this.
All right. So now the bidding starts at 100,000 credits. The Hutts are starting to throw out these large numbers to get Han Solo. And then apparently the Hutts start bidding against themselves.
Which is pointless because either way, they get Han Solo. It's just a different Hutt. Because if you're like, 2,000, 3,000, 300,000,
right,
it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's all from the same clan.
What's going on there, Chris? What are the Hutts up to?
There's a bit going on with the Hutts with Boku, because Boku is working for he's working for Vader, but he's also working for Crimson Dawn.
Yes.
So he's working with Vader, but he's also going into business for himself a little bit. But it all links back to Crimson Dawn. So yeah.
All right. Well, so Solo is sold to Jabba for 1 million credits. 1 million credits. That's much more than what he was going to pay Boba Fett for Solo, but
right.
1 million credits. And then this is when Vader crashes the party and takes Han Solo for himself. Now, Kira wants Darth Vader to pay 1 million credits. All right. And Vader says no. And what happens next?
Well, what happens is probably one of a fight that I need to see, animated or live action or otherwise, because I thought it was fantastic. I love that fight. I thought that, and some things harken back to like when Vader fights her and he says, like he recognizes her training. He recognizes her fighting style, and then she alludes to that it was Maul that had trained her. I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's so much cool stuff right there that needs to be told. So much of that backstory that I would love to see. But
and then now Vader senses Luke, and he decides to go after his son. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Jabba wants no trouble with the Empire, and he decides to just walk away.
Yep.
And Boku is not having it.
Nope.
All right. And like you said, it turns out that Boku is working for Crimson Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So now that the Empire has Solo with the Star Destroyer, Boba and Valance work together to go after the Star Destroyer. Leia, Chewbacca, and Lando make a final attempt to get Solo back. And then the Hutts send a fleet of their ships to take Solo from the Empire. The Hutts are going after the Empire? What are they thinking?
What's going on with the Hutts?
Yeah, there's so much like subterfuge and stuff with Boku and that bit of treachery that was going on with him and yeah, Crimson Dawn has worked everyone into a frenzy, and I think pretty much what they're trying to do is Kira's trying to get everyone to destroy each other, so to speak, so that they can rise in power. Now, I also think that if what we know of her from Solo, she is trying to help Han in her way, because she knows how good of a person that Han is, even when Han doesn't. So yeah, I know that, and that's one thing. Like, we're going to learn so much more about her and her intentions going forward with the next series that starts next month, and I can't wait for Crimson Dawn. Crimson Reign. So yeah, I think all this is to grab power, maybe not destroy the Empire, but cripple them so that the Crimson Dawn can rise and be like a rival superpower or something like that within the galaxy. We'll see. But yeah, I can't wait to see where this goes.
Now, the battle between the Hutts and the Empire are getting out of control.
Mm-hmm.
The Emperor personally asks Vader to intervene and get the Hutts under control.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Vader drops his pursuit of Luke to follow his orders that the Emperor gave him and take care of the Hutts.
Oh, he did.
How does Vader take care of the Hutts?
With a lightsaber. Yeah. As he said back in the day, aggressive negotiations were had. And yeah, he pretty much, what he did was, and that's, I guess, why we see Jabba as like the main guy. He took out all the other major players within the Hutt cartel, and Jabba was able to get away, and now he has risen to power,
right?
Even more so. Yeah.
And we didn't say earlier, there were actually 4 other Hutts besides Jabba, right? I don't have the names of all 4, but Boku, we know, is the one. He is the spearheader. He's the one that's going after the Empire and trying to destroy the Star Destroyer. So it's really his plan, his idea to actually try to steal Han Solo back from the Empire. So he's the ringleader.
Yeah.
And he was one of the first to go.
Yeah.
Of course he was. Because, that's what happens to Hutts.
Yeah.
They're Hutts.
Right. So we know that now that the rest of the Hutt clan is destroyed, that just leaves Jabba as the heir to the Hutt Empire. But we know from Return of the Jedi that doesn't last much longer. But yeah.
Wait. Doesn't he have a son or a nephew or something?
Jabba, I don't know that.
From the Clone Wars.
Yeah. So I don't know if we know his fate yet, and I keep forgetting his name.
That's a good point. Is that
Rada?
Rada. Okay, that's interesting.
So we'll see.
Young, so who knows? I mean, he may be out there.
You know how Jabba is,
right? That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because I know that they live hundreds of years, maybe thousands. So I'm pretty sure that what did Ahsoka call him? Stinky, I think. I forget. But I know that he may still be a child by this point. So even after Return of the Jedi. So maybe that's why Boba was able to take over so easily, so we'll see.
Who knows? Rada might show up.
Yeah.
I don't know how Hutt's age.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just thought of something. He might be a teenager by the time of Return of the Jedi, at least.
Maybe.
But teenagers are rebellious, and you know what else? Jabba's not really alive anymore. So this is a way for a subplot. Rada going after the rebellion because he's mad that his uncle I think it's his uncle. His uncle didn't make it out of the movie. So maybe Rada's thinking, well, the Hutt Empire now belongs to him now that Jabba's out of the picture. So he may try to now he's got the power.
Yeah. He may try to challenge Fett. Yeah.
How about that?
Or maybe why we saw at the end of Mando season 2, where Bib Fortuna is sitting there. Maybe he's there as a what's the word? A regent. Maybe like a regent or something like that, where he's ruling in the other one's stead until he comes of age. So and then Boba came in and messed all that up. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I'm really excited to see where that goes.
So Leia, Chewbacca, and Lando are allowed to land on the Star Destroyer. They engage in a blaster battle with the Empire. Leia gets so close to Solo, but here comes Boba Fett. The Hutts fire on the Star Destroyer. There's an explosion, and the carbonite falls out of the destroyer. So Boba ignites his jetpack and goes after Solo. He uses his grappling hook and grabs the carbonite and takes Solo back to the ship. So we know in the end, Boba gets Solo back and finally delivers the carbonite to Jabba on Tatooine. Jabba and Fett patch things up. Jabba drops the bounty on Boba and then pays him his credits because he brought Solo successfully. But meanwhile, Crimson Dawn is stronger than ever. And we find out the Knights of Red are working with the Dawn. Yes, Kylo
Yeah.
Ren's Knights of Ren.
Any thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah. First, when you said that Leia and Lando and Chewie were able to land the Falcon on the Star Destroyer, normally that shouldn't happen, but because Crimson Dawn has people everywhere, even within the Empire, they're able to do that.
Await the dawn.
And await the dawn.
Mhm.
And or as we say in Philly, await the Jawn. Yeah, so where was I?
Yes.
I just realized something else though.
Right. So Crimson Dawn has people working for the Empire.
Yep.
And
They got people in the Empire. They got people. Of course, they have Boca within the Hutt cartel.
Right.
I think in every criminal organization that was in there, Crimson Dawn has someone in.
What about Black Sun?
Oh, absolutely. In one of the Afra comics, there was an operative that was outed and then taken care of. That was in there. So yeah, they're everywhere. Even within the rebellion, they've got Crimson Dawn operatives. So they're everywhere.
Since the Knights of Ren, I think most of them make it out of the Rise of Skywalker. They might try to start a new Crimson Dawn, get more people.
Maybe
and a new villain and a fourth trilogy. So this series really brought up a lot of questions, a lot of possibilities, a lot of wormholes for exploration.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to see the Knights of
Resistance in one?
Were you surprised to see the Knights of Ren as part of Crimson Dawn?
Absolutely, very much. And with everyone else that I saw on that splash page at the at that last page on War of the Bounty Hunters #5, where you see and you got to remember, this is Charles Soule writing this, so he's bringing in every character that he has had that he's gotten a chance to write. So yep, like from the Rise of Kylo Ren comic, you've got the Knights of Ren, you got Ren and the Knights, and even that little Knight of Ren kid who's in there with him. I need to learn more about that one. I need to see more. There's also another bounty hunter that was in the Lando series that Charles Soule wrote, named Chanath Cha. And she was her parents were killed off by, I think, the Inquisitors. Yeah, I think they were killed off by the Imperial Inquisitors. And now she has a group of I don't know if they're bounty hunters or what, but we're going to find out. And they're called the Orphans. So it's Chana Cha and the Orphans. And then there's a few others that are in there. So yeah, I'm real excited to see what happens next.
And we didn't talk about Deathstick, the assassin.
Yes, yeah, and she was in the she was first in that Star Wars Uprising game, which I played, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm real terrible at mobile games, but yeah, I remember her from that. So she's still around. I'm real excited. Like, I remember we did an interview with Charles Soule for Podathon 2021, and he let us in on something that's about to happen with the Knights of Ren going on a heist on Castle Vader on Mustafar. And they're there to get in some kind of a artifact. And this is Charles Soule writing this, so it's got to be if you've read the older the Dark Lord of the Sith Vader run that he had written. There's a mask called the Mask of Momi. This other Sith Lord he's crazy. He does like a lot of grotesque things, and I think they're going to get this Mask of Moment, because when someone puts on that mask, that mask is imbued with the essence of Moment. So when someone puts that on, they're possessed, and that person becomes Darth Moment. So I'm really looking forward to see what goes down from here. Like, Charles Soule is a master. It's a master wordsmith to me as far as Star Wars writing goes, and I'm so excited to see what happens next.
And I believe that ties into his 2017 series, his Darth Vader series, that took place after Revenge of the Sith. I think Vader also had that interaction with that character you're talking about, the helmet. Yeah.
Yep.
So Charles Soule is just bringing everything all together, connecting.
Yep. Yeah. I think, I forgot if he called it the Soulverse or something like that. But yeah. Every bit of writing that he has done, it's all culminating with this Crimson Dawn trilogy that he's doing.
All right. Can we talk a little bit about the Book of Boba Fett? You know, since we now know that Boba was able to get Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt, and we know that Jabba the Hutt doesn't make it out of Return of the Jedi, and now Boba is back to take over his throne. We know at this point that Boba is very angry, and he's angry with Jabba. One, because he had this bounty on him because he thought, Jabba thought that Boba didn't follow the deal with bringing Solo back to him, so there was a bounty on him.
Yeah,
and I just think what Boba's plan is to just get rid of anyone who was associated with Jabba, who worked with Jabba, so that he can take over easily. Because I remember in the trailer he mentioned about ruling the empire with respect.
Yeah.
In order for him to do that, he needs to get rid of those people who didn't respect him, and those are the ones that work for Jabba the Hutt. Do you have any predictions about what we're going to see in the Book of Boba Fett?
I don't know predictions. I have hopes. So I hope that there is a link to Omega in this thing. I hope that we get to see more of the crime syndicates, like in War of the Bounty Hunters, and I think it was the first issue, or whenever they first went to the that gala that Kira was holding with all these crime syndicates. There was one crime syndicate, there's one crime family that was mentioned, and I had lost my mind, because if you ever watched the old Star Wars Droids cartoon, there was a gang called the Fromm Gang.
I know them.
Size and Tick Fromm.
Yep.
They were mentioned in the War of the Bounty Hunters comic, and I lost my mind. I was so happy.
So does it make them canon?
Yeah. Yeah. They are canon now, and I'm so happy. So I hope that we see, that's the one thing with we didn't get much of it in Mando, because he's there's a specific story happening there, but with the Book of Boba, we could really start to uncover this underworld, this criminal underworld within Star Wars. I'd love to see that, fleshed out live action.
So, do you think we'll see Kira and Crimson Dawn again in Boba Fett?
That depends. That depends on what happens with this trilogy going on in the comics, and what that. I don't know how much they can spoil, and I hope they're all working together, between the different mediums for Star Wars storytelling. So I'm hoping that they're all keeping it as together as they can. I hope it would be fantastic to see Emilia Clarke come back in some way as Kira, post Return of the Jedi. Post, I hope she survives this whole trilogy that's going on right now. So we'll see. Yeah.
Well, the Crimson Dawn series continues in a new Marvel comic book called Star Wars Crimson Reign by Charles Soule, which begins in December. I'll tell you something, Chris. I've never been this excited to run to the comic book store since I was in high school. I mean, I just, it's like, I feel like I'm there every other week.
Yeah.
So much stories and series out there, not just Star Wars, but excuse me, not just Star Wars, but there's so much material out there for any comic book lover. So I appreciate Atomic City Comics, that we have a place where we can actually go and get our comic books. So I just want to let people know that if you're in the Philly area, you love comics and graphic novels, please support this shop.
Keep them in
business, right? If you're visiting Philadelphia, Chris, you can give them the address of Atomic City Comics and let them know where they can find you.
Sure. You can come down to Atomic City Comics. It's 638 South Street in Philly. The number is 215-625-9613. If you ever have any questions, especially Star Wars questions, just ask for Chris. I'll get on that. I'll take care of you.
Thank you. And then as far as you and Broaxium, where can they find you?
You can find us on Twitter at Broaxium, the same with Instagram. We're also on Facebook and, of course, on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter at Chris Ryons. CHRISRYONS. And I'm always talking Star Wars on there as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. And Keith, where can people find us?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, Amazon Music, Audible, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
That's right.
All right. And we're also on YouTube. Please subscribe. We have a Facebook page. Please like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And our website, fathersunGalaxy.com.
Chris, we are honored to have you on our show. This was fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I had a great time.
Yeah. And there'll be more comic books to talk about in the future. So we would love to have you back on our podcast.
Anytime.
All right. Thank you. So that is our spoiler review of Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters. Until next time, take care, and we will see you again.